I guess we are live. Just quickly check that. Excellent. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight from MyGigsters. This is our monthly quick catch up with our users and community and everyone across the board on what we are working, what problems we're solving, and what we are seeing in the industry. If you're here for the first time, um, welcome. And my name is Benjamin. I'm the CEO and founder of MyGigsters. And today, um, my team members have got sick, so it's me. So you're gonna watch me just show the demo and talk about it, and all the exciting stuff that we've been building. A one-liner to tell you what we do, and I think this is a question that came up from the last spotlight. Also, was Benji, what actually does MyGigsters do? Like, how do we? What's the easiest way to explain MyGigsters? I think the analogy that I would like to put is we are an embedded financial infrastructure for marketplaces and gig platforms. As long as you're in the business of connecting independent workers with on-demand work, whether you're um, a telehealth provider or a fractional workplace or a delivery platform or a freelancer marketplace or a creator marketplace, or you are an agency that does this without an app, you are the people that we like to help and support your growth. The analogy that I would usually wanted to share is think of your marketplace as a shopping mall, right? And in the marketplace, you've got supply and demand meeting each other and transacting value. And if you're a freelancer marketplace, that's what it does. You've got a bit of a marketplace where people come and ask what they want, and um, then you would be able to join the other ones. So give me 1 second. Yeah. So the if you're a market, if you're like imagine if you are a shopping mall, you need a proper entry, like a security compliance entry to know who is coming and who is leaving. And you need loading docks to move in and move out goods for the running of the marketplace or running of the mall. MyGigsters is first off is that infrastructure, allowing you to have loading docks to move money in and out compliantly, globally, efficiently, and cost effectively. On the other side is also creating compliance and security in terms of understanding who comes in, which includes verification of the workers in your supply and demand. So that way, your infrastructure for running your marketplace is compliant and ready to scale globally. Now, within this shopping mall that you have, we would help you set up new stores. There could be a store for different financial services products that you would like to provide to your workers, or you would like to your workers to consume them as part of your offering. Things like embedded super, which I'm going to share today, embedded bank accounts, embedded wallets, embedded finance like on-demand pay or early pay, embedded insurance, embedded tax. And suddenly, your mall has a lot of different stores, not only to provide the match between the supply and demand, but also provide both sides of the marketplace and more reasons to stay inside the shopping mall and make it more fun and valuable. So the goal and intention is by giving you the embedded infrastructure, you can make your shopping center more attractive and more engaging and more sticky so that the people who come to your shopping center, your mall, continues to stay there and be happy. Um, and to do this, you don't necessarily need to become a financial service provider yourself, build it yourself, engineer it yourself, or get the licenses and all the additional compliance that comes with it. That's where MyGigsters becomes your invisible partner. And as an invisible partner, we are embedded into your infrastructure, into your ecosystem, and provide you with both the infrastructure layer and also the little shops and stores to make your marketplace even more exciting. And the good thing is, it not only makes sure you are compliant and you've got a really valuable marketplace, but also opens up a huge avenue of additional revenue that you are currently not generating. So yeah, hopefully that little definition, like analogy, kind of helps. And happy to happy to chat to you and share more. Cool. Now, getting into the spotlight, I think what has been happening last month, the biggest news that we have for August is the Fair Work Commission's new regulation on on-demand delivery. Currently, it is restricted to certain number of on-demand deliveries, only such as food, grocery, alcohol, and stuff. Um, but it is not yet provided for other things like furniture deliveries or wine deliveries or other, it's not wine, sorry, furniture deliveries or interstate deliveries and stuff like that. But what does the Fair Work Commission actually say? This is now asking platforms to be able to um, provide a flow rate, ensuring that the workers are provided with a minimum pay guarantee based on the vehicle that they use, and ensuring that they've got insurance covered, ensuring that they've got access to their own financial reports, ensuring that things like protections and clarity and transparency and dispute management is all maintained. Hi, Priya. Um, I just told my team just left me on my own, and I'm actually so that's FWC Favor Commission's new regulation is kind of the biggest spotlight for August. And if you are in that space and you're like, oh, Benji, I don't know how to navigate this space, please reach out. We've got the solution out of the box that makes sure you're compliant across all the FWC regulations, including payment orchestration, insurances, flow rates, and calculations, and the whole shebang. But if you're not in that space, I do think you should watch out because I think this is the start of many other compliance regulations to come from Fair Work. This food delivery and on-demand grocery delivery has been a topic for a while, and I believe that is why that industry is first subjected to the regulation. But I wouldn't be surprised in the next 6 to 10 months or 12 months, and this covers other sets of marketplaces and stuff. The other thing that other highlight that came through kind of the spotlight of legals is superannuation. Now, historically, this is not a new news, but with payday super, this has become more of a spotlight. What is the news? Now, especially in industries like hospitality, healthcare, venue where you put some venue workers and artists and stuff like that. These on-demand casual workers are also covered under payday super guarantee or super pay guarantee. Now, historically, this was always there. This is not a new thing, but often what happens is the venue would not pay a separate super, rather just pay the invoice the whole and ask the worker to deal with it. Or in many cases, the platform who is now like a marketplace who are matching these supply and demand is being asked to see how you can offer that value. We have some companies that have been spotlighted this month, and I think the topic around payday super and the coverage of super payments for flexible workers like independent workers is going to be a topic for a while, and I think more and more of these industries will be under the spotlight. So if you're operating first, maybe what I will do is a blanket statement. You need to go and see whether the marketplace that you're operating and the work that your independent workers are providing are subjected under super pay guarantee. And the ATS provided clear guidelines on how you can validate that. If that is not enough, I would strongly encourage you to talk to your accountant or to your lawyers and understand the obligation that this person has. Now, if your marketplace or the worker has a super pay guarantee, then you need to come and talk to me, because you need to now figure out how to provide embedded super payments for each of these workers at scale efficiently, which I'm going to show you a small demo use of super payments processed through our system. But as an awareness, I do think it's a good time to go and actually assess how your current state is. And if your current state requires a superannuation obligation, then you should consider how to get that done. Excellent. Now, the other thing that came out in our recent conversations for a while, been a few months, is there are marketplaces um, that are just like listing sites. I've been talking about in my personal opinion is, um, you're just a listing site. You're not essentially a marketplace if you're not doing a few more things. But there are some marketplaces that are just listing sites, not because they don't want to handle payments and they don't want to handle the financials infrastructure. Some services they can't do because they are probably thinking they would be subjected to be called as a labor hire, or they legally can't be a merchant on record for another service, or they don't want to get into that grayness of regulations where, oh, I don't want to be seen as the intermediate, and the confusion happens. um, so we have a solution for that, and I'm going to show you today and how you could actually become a marketplace without having to be the middleman, which is kind of what marketplace means. But I'm going to show you how it can be. Um, but that's very exciting because that opens up the opportunity for the marketplaces who are probably watching this video and now or later. Hey, I've been thinking of adding payments and I don't know how, and I don't want to be the intermediate. Then this is the solution for you. Excellent. Enough of me talking. It's time for some show and tell. Before I go and do that, I'm just going to go around asking Meenakshi and Priya if there's anything they like to add. Your voice didn't come through. Maybe it's me. I don't know.
Is this better now?
Yep. Yeah. Much
Oh,
better. Much better.
perfect. I was just saying, I think you've covered everything, that all the exciting stuff that we've been working on. The only thing is all of these compliance related changes that are coming through, they just add so much admin effort to platforms. And they are those leaking taps, I would say, which seems small, but eventually can turn into big issues for your platform. So the sooner you have those sorted as a platform and are compliant, the better experience for your customers as well as for your own teams and admins too, I think. So yes, something might seem one of those admin boring things, but very, very important for overall platform user experience as well as your gig workers or workers experience too.
Yeah. You're right. Cool. Meenakshi, anything to add?
No, I think both of you have covered everything, and actions do speak louder than words. So I think we should just show them what we've got.
Yes. I think the first thing that I would like to share is we've been talking about embedded super payments, in the spotlight before, and we've kind of told what it is. But I want to do a bit of a show and tell on how we help our customers. Now, before I do that, I think we are an invisible player, right? So we've got API first products, so you can basically consume our APIs and create your front end experience the way you want it. And it comes with all the bells and whistles and webhooks and rules and configurations that can be configured to your business, your marketplace, and your type of funds flow too. Now, If you don't want to handle the APIs and you're like, Benji, I wanted to go fast and I want to go live soon, you also got other opportunities like NPM packages, embedded packages like iframes, where you can pretty much just consume the package, put it into your platform front end, and you can pretty much go live in a matter of few days. Um, Both options are available. I'm going to show you. I can't show you the API docs on this call. It might be not very exciting to see API docs on a call, but I'm going to show you a version of a front-end experience that the customers can use, like yourself. One of the key things about Super is not about the Super payment. Actually, that is the easiest bit. Paying somebody, the payment part of the Super is actually the easiest bit. So what is the hardest bit? The hardest bit is two things. One, you need to onboard the employer and the employee and make sure their informations are adequately collected, accurately enough to then process the Super. Failure to do this will lead to heavy rejections of the super payment itself. Um, so your biggest leverage of making this experience really, really valuable to your customers is how do you onboard your employees and not employees, your workers and your clients, and creating a super account for them. The second part of the thing is having a very good clearinghouse that can process super payments to different funds pretty much without having any hiccups. Now we are proud that we've partnered with one of the largest providers in Australia with Super Choice. So our embedded super clearing happens through the Super Choice clearing facility that basically hits your super accounts and contributes to your super account. Um, Now that's pretty much the two big things that you would need for having an embedded super payment service. Many of my customers who've got this service now have started to actually add more value to their customers and not only be compliant, but they've also increased their revenue by doing so because it's an activity and they can charge more for this activity. Awesome. I'm going to show you a bit about the first link is what does it mean to set up a super as a client? And this is one of an experience where you go, uh, I want to go and I give you a magic link. You are the client, so you're sending this to your client for them to be able to onboard this experience. It comes with things like I'm a company. What is my company's name? It's MyGigsters, MG, and let's say I go and type this information, select the industry, and then continue, put the details in, Benjamin, set goal done, and then I want to choose the payment method. So here we currently in this flow, I've got direct debit, but you also have an pay on my behalf process where we will automatically pay the super funds to the eligible freelancers, so that and then we will bill separately the venue or the client or the host organization and then collect the payments back. It's almost like a little bit of a finance, if that makes sense, but we could also help your host organizations to be on top of the 7-day super payments without having to worry about whether I've got the money, whether payments are being processed, and all of that um, uncertainties. We could automatically do it for your organizations, and you could offer that service to them. NAB, I don't know, MyGigsters, PSP, account number, direct debit, and boom. So they agree the terms. We will help you also with creating these terms and agreements so that you are compliant and your host organization is also compliant. Pretty much that's it. It takes about a little less than 5 minutes to be able to complete an onboarding for your clients. So what you just saw is how your clients can onboard through you for providing super payments. They do this only once, and once they do it, they can start using it for all the other payments. The second flow is what I said was the flow where your independent worker, your freelancer or your hospitality worker, your independent worker needs to get onboarded. And that is, there is a separate flow through a Magic Link API embedded frame. And I'm going to show you how that works. Um, we go and have personal details are collected, and based on the information, let's say, um, based on the information, it will go and pick the super fund that they're already part of, which is really interesting because most times, even as me, right, I know what super fund I have, but I don't know the USI number and member number, and to be honest, until I knew this, I didn't even know how to get that. I probably have to go to their online portal or something, right? I'm sure you also have faced this in the past. So what this allows is we collect some level of information such as encrypted TFN, some address, date of birth, and using this information, we can be able to go and pick the super fund that they are part of, which is very handy because now I know which super that I want to contribute, and then I select that, enter the member number, just for verification, and it continue. Um, so payday super is a benefit that's included. So I hit, and pretty much that's it. You complete the setup, and it takes even less than 5 minutes to complete a setup. Now, what is more exciting here is, so you have the client who has been onboarded into your super payments. So now they are registered, and they just have to do it one-off. And the workers are also going through the onboarding process, which is one-off, and this is the process, and they are also registered. Now, let's say client A, worker B is matched on your platform, and they are required to do super payments. You could now process the payment from client A to worker B super fund through the process that I just showed you. Um, Now, let's say the worker B goes and works for client C tomorrow, which happens in most marketplaces. The good thing is you don't need the worker to do another onboarding. This one-time onboarding works across all the clients that are on this site, as long as the clients are registered with the same flow. So what would happen, the system will automatically recognize and then flow and use client C as the employer, and then move the super funds for worker B to the super fund. Um, so it's not 1:1 matching, it's many to many matching that can be done as the onboarding. So if you have, one of the recommendations to think about introducing this is, if your platform is obligated or you're helping to do payment obligations for super, you could add this as part of the onboarding flow at some stage, so that all the workers that go through your onboarding flow are getting their registered for super. And whenever they have a super payment obligation, it will be automatically done. And you can do the same thing with your client onboarding. As and when the client comes in, you can also do that. Now, some of this information, they don't have to retype it again. So this comes handy when you have the information in your database. You can simply pass through that information through an API or through preloading the iframe, and so that your workers don't have to go and fill it again. The experience that you just saw here for Sarah, you would have seen Sarah's information already pre-populated. That's an example of how we could use your existing customer information to make the flow even more easier. Now, what is the benefit of doing this, Benji? The benefit of doing this is what I said. If I collect the information accurately and adequately upfront, this significantly drops the rejection rate and helps your clients be compliant for the 7-day payday super guarantee. It's pay-stream compliant, and it also has MVR enabled. What that means is, before an actual payment is triggered, we will actually check whether this host company can pay to this members fund. And if the answer is yes, good, then we will process the payment when the payment is ready. If the answer is no, we will send the webhooks and the information to both parties saying, look, client A can't put workers B's funds for this reason. Can you go please verify and check? So because it's very proactive and upstream, it allows you to give a really good experience to your customers and offering them more compliant, more streamlined experience, and as a result, very scalable experience also. I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to maybe ask, Priya and Meenakshi, is there anything I missed, anything that we should add more?
No, I think this is great. Benji, were you thinking of also showcasing how, in terms of a platform, if they have access to any reports, any data of the payments themselves, that would be some useful information as well, I think.
Good point. Yes. Yes, as an administrator of the platform, you have access to a lot more insights and information and reports and statuses against each talent, or I call them talent in the screen, but against each worker or each client and each payment. This is all part of our admin portal to you. So when you receive an admin portal from us, you will be able to look at the status of each, like Sarah just now, Australian Super. Has it been onboarded? If not, you can go check the information. So send an onboarding link from here. But if you've got payments, you can look at payment information. There are some flags that are pre-built to help you keep on top of anything that failed or anything that can potentially be non-compliant. So you have got some intelligent flags on that. It also gives you a bit of a status. So let's say your client calls you and says, "Hey, marketplace, I paid Sarah Super. Tell me what's the status. Is it done or not done?" And you could say, "Yep, it's paid. Let me show you. Let me get you the file, and I can send it to you." If it is failed, you can also get that information, or you can retry and basically find what the details are. All of that is built in, so you would be able to see pretty much like a timeline of you of right from their job has been completed to the payment details being sent, the payment being fund debited and sent to the super fund. So you get that transparency. And in addition to this, we have Finny. So if you don't know Finny, Finny is your AI agent built inside this dashboard. You can access Finny at any point, and Finny might be able to answer some of these questions on the go, so that you don't have to go and go through the dashboard. Excellent. Good point. Now, if again, you don't necessarily have to use MyGigsters solution, even though ours is far much better than what you could do it yourself. That's me being heavily biased, but also true. But what I think you should consider is undeniably is look at what your current obligations are for your marketplace in arrangement. Please ensure that you don't fall under super pay guarantee, and if you do, you need to think of a solution like MyGigsters ASAP. Now, if you don't have the super pay obligation, that's still good, because you should think how you can add more value to your supply. And if you want to have embedded super for your workers so that they can contribute super as part of the income that they're generating in your platform, you can still provide this experience where your workers can contribute super to their own fund based on the income that they're earning. Think about this, right? You're a marketplace and you're allowing these workers to earn some money. There is no super pay obligation, but you can give that worker, hey, whenever you want to put money into your super fund, click this button, it'll automatically get put money into your super fund. If you want, you can set a 10% of every invoice to be sent automatically to super fund. So suddenly you are giving almost like a payroll experience, but without being a payroll company or without being called as a payroll. To me, this is nirvana because I used to be a gig worker and I didn't even understand. Um, I didn't even know, first of all, I can self contribute super, that's how lack of aware I was. But even if and after I knew, there was a huge amount of energy and thought process for me to make sure there is money carved out from that income. And I go to the super and find out how to put super fund. And what do you know what? I will not do it. And in some cases, I would have pushed myself and go do it, but then I won't do it consistently. So, maybe as an experiment, I would actually ask you to call your friend or someone who's a freelancer right after this call or over the weekend and ask them this question: Hey, do you really contribute super as a self-employed person? And you'll be surprised. They probably would say no. And if they say yes, then ask the second question: Do you consistently contribute to super? and you might still find that surprising that they have not done it. So it is a real problem, not just because it's a payment obligation and a regulation, but also it's something that you can definitely add value to your workers. Uh, Enough super fun. Can we get into the next exciting stuff? And this is probably the most exciting stuff for us at the moment, because this opens up a huge opportunity for marketplaces that is currently not available in the market for them. And so before the context before that, right? I think one of the things that I just spoke earlier was I've got there are marketplaces who can't move the money or don't want to move the money because of various reasons, being labeled as a labor hire, or I've got this company who wants to provide migration services, and they were called upon saying you can't act as a merchant on record on behalf of another migration agent because it's a licensed activity. So suddenly they don't have the opportunity to facilitate payments. They are simply listing site. So there are marketplaces who genuinely can't be. There are marketplaces who feel that this is really risky and there's compliance. And there are marketplaces who does pay out to the workers, either using a traditional mechanisms or now giving this opportunity allows the marketplace to provide additional financial value to the workers. Imagine, right, that your worker is on your marketplace and they are getting a bit of the earning through your marketplace, but there is a life for this worker outside your marketplace. Now, that life that they have outside your marketplace, maybe there are extra clients, there are other jobs, other side gigs, or other work that they're doing. That financial life is outside your marketplace, and you should have the opportunity to support them, provide them value, and as a result, unlock additional revenue and loyalty for your marketplace. Cool. That is what I'm going to share. What I'm going to share is a concept that not anymore is a concept, but it is much more being live at the stage. And we are opening up our beta set of customers to start using it. Once the first few customers are championing it, then we will roll it for everyone. So at this stage, it's kind of in a VIP list, but we will open up as we scale the product. What is it? So let me share the screen. Stop sharing, share again. Cool. Now what I'm going to share is an experience where imagine yourself, I don't know, happy, why don't we call, I know, happy, no, seems like I want a nice name. I'll use our classic name, Hustle. I like the Hustle name. And so Hustle, I don't know if you are out there, but don't send copyright to me. It's just an example. But imagine your marketplace name is here. You could name yourself a tasker, whatever. But this, you get it. So your company name. Let me choose a favorite color for you. I'll go with the red. This color, Hustle, looks red. You are an on-demand trades platform. So here's how the experience looks, right? When somebody is on your platform already, this is your platform. I've got Pat, who happens to be a plumber in Sydney, who works on your platform, providing on-demand work for any plumbing issues. Plumbers are high on demand, as you know, and they do earn a good money. So Pat is on your app. Let me say that again. It's on your app. It's all happening in your app. For a second, imagine this is your app. So he logs in. What he gets is a way to create his own wallet inside your app. Now, people have been using Stripe. I know you will feel this much more. You'll understand this really, because what happens in the Stripe world is you often have to tell your freelancer or Pat in this example, hey Pat, go and create a Stripe Express account and then provide me that account's link so that then I can match up with my Stripe Connect and then it works. Then what happens is Pat is like, I don't know how to go to Stripe, and then he drops off. and then Stripe owns your customer, and and you don't get them. And imagine all of that is happening in-house inside your product, and the experience is so seamless that they feel it as if it's given to them. So Pat is reminded to set up a wallet, but Pat is like, I don't know what this wallet is. I'm going to ignore it for now, and I'm going to look at the jobs near me. Uh, so Pat goes and looks at the job. He's got one job which is urgent. So what the job? Megan is asking for a burst pipe issue in New South Wales, a 300 odd job, a $300 odd job. So he accepts the job. Excellent. He gets reminded again to create a wallet. The reason why I just showed you is this is highly configured to your business flow and your marketplace flow. You can trigger these anywhere you want, whether at onboarding, whether at the point of accepting a job, whether it's point of accepting the payment, whether it's a point of taking the payment as an invoice, sending invoice, you trigger this. Everything that you see as part of this experience, which is just popped up powered by MyGigsters, it's a very, very simple embedded SDK experience. So you don't have to engineer any of this. You simply use our SDK inside your native iOS, Android, web application, Flutter, and then pretty much it's up and running inside your app, in your brand colors, in your brand guidelines, and in the same experience. Anyway, so Pat goes and creates his wallet. This is not any other wallet. This is actually a digital virtual bank account or a digital global wallet. So according to the AFSL and other licenses, there is a KYC process required for ensuring that Pat gets the wallet. So Pat goes through that KYC within the SDK, chooses to pick whatever passport, driver's license, and then once he's done, he's going to verify his information. All of these informations are automatically verified through our integrations with the ABR and ASIC. And once he has got, so I'm Pat, I've got my AB and all of that sorted out, agree the terms, and boom, the verification can be done. There are other ways to also move this verification to a later point in time. In this particular experience, we have moved the verification up front. But if you want to defer this verification so that they don't have to go through this, they get the wallet, but they can verify later, that is also possible. Anyways, there is a wallet setup done. I'm gonna quickly simulate the experience. Once the wallet is set, this is where the money would land from Sarah or from you. The money can land here. So when it lands here, Pat gets the opportunity to keep the money in this wallet and spend it from here, or automatically send it to his bank account as and when the money lands. So there is full assurity that the worker, or Pat in this case, gets his money and he's got access to his money on demand. Nobody is holding his money. Cool. Now, let me go and I've got a job, right? Let me go and complete that job, accept this job, complete the job, and send an invoice. Again, we can help you with also generating customized brandable invoices based on your business configuration. So you can use our invoice generation APIs and then raise invoices and receipts to your clients. So let's say in this example, I've sent an invoice and I'm waiting for payment from Megan, and I'm going to stimulate the payment. Boom. It's done. So I got the payment. It's all in my wallet. Now, Pat, in the payment section of your app, whether it's on the menu bar here or the side, doesn't matter as long as you have somewhere to access this. Pat gets the opportunity to experience everything in this wallet. Remember when I started this live session, I told you about the analogy. You are a shopping center and we give you the loading docks and the security gates to control flow in and flow out, but also money movement compliantly. What I also told you is we will help you set up stores inside your shopping center so that the workers and the clients, in this particular case, the workers can get more value and unlock more benefits, and as a result, be more happier, and then you also get more revenue. This is that store inside your marketplace. And the store is set by us. We bring the SDK, we bring the licenses, we bring the compliance, and we bring the infrastructure and the support uh, inside your marketplace without you having to build this yourself, and still orchestrated under your experience and to a certain degree under your brand. Anyway, so Pat has got the money. He's got $300 out of that job. He's got a wallet. He's got a card. So he can actually spend it from here to his digital wallet. And he can also earn some cashback rewards based on the platform that he's working for. Now, the money would automatically go to his Commonwealth Bank, but he doesn't want to wait. He wants to send money. He can always send money. If you want to send money elsewhere to some other third party, send money home, send money to a friend, pay another contractor, they can also pay someone from here. And then they've got access to a bit of all the transactions, expenses, insights, and they get access to embedded tax lodgement, BAS, embedded other financial products that I mentioned earlier. Now, this also opens up a new opportunity, which is on-demand pay. Now, Pat is not only a plumber in your platform, Hustle, but he's also a plumber in his life. So it means he's got other clients that he does outside the marketplace. There is one risk marketplace always carries. Is first time the customer meets the talent in the marketplace, and the second time they start dealing outside the marketplace. While while you can do everything to avoid that, build trust and credibility and loyalty so that they stick with you, but it is also a chance that they will continue to build their business outside your marketplace. In that case, you can still Pat can still use this business bank account and services to send invoices to any other client outside your platform and be able to collect funds and use that funds for paying bills, taking money for themselves, paying super, paying insurance, paying everything that they wanted. So essentially, you're not just giving them a wallet for the sake of a wallet, you're actually giving them a business banking service inside your platform. And that is huge. If you just for a second, imagine yourself having to provide this to your workers. It significantly increases the value that you're delivering to them, helping them more than what you can today, and as a result, unlock higher levels of engagement, attractiveness, and revenue. Cool. Now I got some invoice. Let me go and see what this on-demand pay looks like. So the on-demand pay is Tata sends some invoices either in your platform or to clients outside the platform. And these payments are waiting. So he can go and choose to get paid sooner for the work that he has already done and the invoice already submitted. Now, this is one of the huge benefits of this wallet. Why? You know, and it's a stat right now. Sole traders and small medium businesses in Australia face a significant risk on cash flow issues. There are heavy delays in payments with invoices, and these delay in payments hurt their business immensely. And to a point that many of the businesses actually close down, not because they don't have a good business, it's because people don't pay on time. And if I just put a LinkedIn post and say, "Hey, freelancers, hit like or put a comment if you have ever faced a delayed payment," I guarantee you that post will go wild because that is the real truth of being an independent worker or a sole trader or a small and medium business. So access to funds on demand really helps in three things. One, it helps them to manage cash flow, uncertainties, and predictability. Two, it also helps them to maintain a sustainable financial lifestyle. If they're getting paid sporadically here and there and they can't track and how this comes through, it impacts their own life personally and as a result impacts the business that they're in. And three, if your marketplace cannot provide a service like this, you're essentially not in the game anymore because there are marketplaces out there who are benchmarking this by providing pretty much fixed payments or certainty payments, next day payments, instant payments. Um, and it's, in my opinion, as a marketplace, you should be thinking about how do I pay my workers sooner, faster, and more certainly. Anyway, so this is that way where uh, you could offer that value and service to your workers. So Pat has got 3 invoices that are eligible. He goes, picks, oh, I want money tomorrow for this invoice. And I'm going to say, let me review. Good. There's a small percentage fee, which he's happy to pay, and he's happy to review and hit that submit. You might be having a lot of questions, Benji, so who determines this? Who determines this? Where is this money coming from? All of this is done by MyGigsters. You don't have to do anything. And if the one thing that you could do is sponsor this so that the worker is happy, so he then has to get to pay, and you can pay us not that same amount. We can work out a commercial, and you can pay us a much more better amount to offer this service. But if you choose to use this as an additional value, we are happy to share the revenue that we generate with you on this particular service. Either way, we bring in the float, we take the risk, we orchestrate this right inside your application to help you build loyalty and retention with your workers. Cool, I got go and submit this for a second. That's done. Pat, I remember Pat has got an invoice that needs to be matched. So I'm going to go see, okay, this. So by the way, Pat has got the money from this invoice. He can quickly see which invoice that it matches, and he goes and marks as paid. Later down the track, this will be integrated to Pat's own accounting tool, such as Xero off the box. So if Pat's using Xero, he can integrate all of this activity into Xero, and then his accountant can then further do it. If Pat is not into Xero, which most freelancers don't use an accounting tool, that's fine. We have an embedded tax accounting solution where they can click and then proceed to help them lodge their VAS and tax lodgements. There's so much here to share, which I wanted to park for the next spotlight, because this spotlight is just a spotlight. It's not a deep dive. But what I wanted to summarize is, for the first time ever, I think marketplaces in Australia have got a legitimate way to build more value to the workers of the marketplace. Not just simply connecting them to on-demand jobs and opportunity, but also actually providing legitimate, valuable financial services without having to build the financial services themselves. Now, imagine if you don't have this solution that you just saw. Imagine you do all this by heart, you want to do this to your workers. What would you do? A, you will have to go figure it out, build it yourself, get the appropriate AFSL license, go and partner with these financial services individually, whether it's tax or insurance or super, build that infrastructure using your engineering team, and then maintain the infrastructure and do that at scale. Now, all of that requires significant amount of effort, cost, and, in my opinion, your attention. And your attention in this game is very important. Even if you have the money, time, and everything that you can do, your business is about building the marketplace and building it at scale. Everything that sits underneath, you should be handled by someone like MyGigsters who can be your growth partners. Anyways, if you're interested to play around, just reach out to MyGigsters or drop a comment, say playground, and I will send you, or embedded wallet call. Just put a comment. I will reach out to you, and I will have a chat. I can help you have a play with what the solution is. But the solution also comes with its own pros and cons. Right now, we're only opening it for Australia, so you can only onboard Australian sole traders or companies. So either they are an ABN or an ACN. We can't issue this to individuals at this stage. And there's a bit of a roadmap that we have, we can share with you. Eventually, yes, but this will suit for marketplaces that currently have a good volume of workers, and they want to now unlock this new financial services layer that they want to do. Before I kind of wrap up the session, Priya, actually, anything on the embedded wallet?
No, nothing from me. This was great. Very comprehensive. I think you covered most of, if not all, the key areas that they would need to know. But like you said, it's a very involved solution. So there is plenty more where it came from, which we can cover in the next session. But this is great. Thanks.
Excellent. Actually, anything to add?
No, all good on my end as well.
Thanks. As you can notice, Priya has a little bit of an itchy throat and her voice is more huskier. That's not her actual voice, though. But look, we're coming to the very end of the spotlight. So if you're watching this after the fact, I really appreciate you spending the time. And if you are watching this right now, thank you so much for giving your valuable time on a Thursday afternoon. Really appreciate that. Look, if you're here for the first time, I do recommend you to check us out. Look, we are not in the business of selling, and these calls are not for you to buy stuff from us. These calls are here for you to understand what is happening in the world that you operate right now, and what is the best way to grow in this world. And here are some of the examples of how we are supporting our customers and to grow as a marketplace and provide additional value. Now, if you're dabbling around these concepts of, hey, I'm thinking about super, I'm also thinking about wallets and all of this really cool, exciting stores, yeah, please reach out. And no obligations. Let's have a chat. We will see whether this is the right fit for you. And if this is the right fit, we will do whatever we can to support you in that growth. If you want to check other things out, please do add a comment to this post or this video that you're seeing. We'll add you to a little newsletter that we send on a monthly basis. So that captures a bit more detailed information on what's happening across the globe, what should you be aware of, any resources that we have available for you, and some experiences like this to go play around. So please drop in. It's not a spam newsletter. You can always unsubscribe it, but it's something that that you can read in about 5-10 minutes and be aware of what's happening in the industry that you're operating. Until then, I will see you next time. And thank you so much for tuning in. And Meenakshi and Priya, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Stay
everyone.
tuned. And